Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. We are here for the 21st of um, August, 1993, WCW Saturday Night. First in a while of the longer versions of the program. We see I believe, the WCW Saturday Night debut of Harlem Heat with Colonel Robert Parker. Parker, of course, otherwise known as Robert Fuller, and get a great podcast over on the Arcadian Vanguard podcast network. If you've never given a listen, definitely worth doing. Six-man match as we see Scorpio, Ron Simmons, and Marcus Bagwell against the what ends up being Harlem Heat here. And I don't know. Oddly, their other partner doesn't seem to be popping into my head at the moment. Anyway, regardless, Scorpio and what I believe to be Booker T kind of square up early in the beginning. Nice athletic maneuvers by Booker. Obviously, interesting sideline is the alliance as it remains with Scorpio and Simmons. Simmons is the one that brings him into the ring. And then a quick roll up by Scorpio there. Definitely a match worth going anyway to see. Just a fun little six-man or tag match there. And so you kind of see some go behinds, kind of see some missed spots. Bagwell comes in and he doesn't really do terribly much before tagging off to Ron Simmons. Simmons against one half of Harlem Heat, just interesting from a what Booker T would later become, and also in the sense of Simmons being the first ever black heavyweight champion. Sid is the third man in, and he finally appears, although he's not on camera very much until he's actually in the ring. He hits a one-handed choke slam on Bagwell. Bagwell took a heck of a jump for it, and at the very least, you could say he did everything he could to make Sid look like a monster. Not that Sid needs a whole bunch of help to look like a monster, but regardless, it's there. The flying forearm by Booker T is there as well. Eventually, we see the heels take a little more over, and I think that's mainly due to Sid. The entire match clears into basically a pure six brawl. Sid hits a power bomb on Bagwell and takes him out once and for all, and gets the victory for his trio. We then see the equalizer in a enhancement talent match. He is not good by any stretch of the imagination. He is very, very punch kick, and I don't remember where the transition into Dave Sullivan, which for the record isn't much better a gimmick over the next couple of years, comes in, and I don't understand kind of the benefit of the equalizer as a name or anything of that general nature. But anyway, he does about what you'd expect a green enhancement talent to do. Big boot, kind of like Brody. Doesn't get a heck of a lot. Does get a victory here. Chokes the man out and tries to look fierce. We go into the Fall Brawl War Games goofiness, and I say goofiness because there wasn't enough of a history of people at war that War Games made a heck of a lot of sense. Charlie Norris, who is a Native American guy, who came out of, I believe, the Carolina Indies, if I remember correctly. At the time, WWF still riding the wave of the Tonka thing and had been for quite a while. I think this was WCW's attempted answer at Tatanka. However, Tatanka much more skilled, much more pushed, and much more ready. Especially by this time, he's got several months under his belt. But anyway, arm bars, arm locks, and the like. Norris really doesn't have the pedigree that he has to go through. I mean, it basically comes down to being the equivalent of a independent match on national television with the enhancement talent and Charlie Norris. The enhancement talent tries to hook him up and does get a vertical suplex while you're trying to get a new babyface over, him taking a bunch of punishment from a no-name talent. Probably not the best way to get there from here. Anyway, Cactus Jack returns, finally returning to TV. Says he's going to get his hands on Vader and anybody associated with Harley Race, including Yoshi Kwan. Promises that he never lost himself. Might have had some amnesia along the way, but never really lost himself. Promises to be the world champion. And the Vader saga continuing is exciting to most people. Johnny B. Bad, pink boa and mask included, with the confetti gun, is out here for an enhancement talent match, which, I mean, he's obviously in the full throes of his babyface run here. Go behinds with hammerlocks, wrist locks, side headlock takeovers, and the like. Nothing worth necessarily writing home about, but very basic here. Leapfrog and a deep arm drag by Bad. Bad manages to hit a hard shot, including the kiss that don't miss 1, 2, 3. Takes the mask off in the middle of the match, and obviously not as scarred as he was once feared to be, was Johnny B. Bad at the time. Ice Train with Thunderbolt Patterson, short term, is here. Ice Train, an African American star who truthfully doesn't do a heck of a lot in terms of in-ring ability. He's kind of got a build like Scott Norton, which Fire and Ice is a team that they later form in the latter part of 95 maybe, something like that, 94. Anyway, over the next couple of years, Vader demolishes and completely just takes out a enhancement talent guy. Choke slam very quickly, power bomb very quickly. Vader still very much in control of his destiny here, and obviously open to challenging Cactus Jack. Wants to get rid of Cactus once and for all. Amazed that Cactus is still around. Sting is here, and obviously the same benefit there. Now the agreement, and this is a match worth going out of your way to see. Once again, this is the 21st of August, 1993. Sting and Flair get about 30 minutes in an NWA Championship match, almost recreating their earlier benefit match of the 1988 version of things. So, 5 years earlier? Sting's foray into the national benefit of things and the national expansion of the NWA. I don't think they were calling it WCW at the time, right after the Turner buyout. But anyway, fantastic match. Probably one of the better WCW Saturday Night matches, certainly of the year, maybe even of the first few years of the brand. Shoulder tackles, basic stuff. Flair gets held in an armbar for several minutes. They go trade holds, including sleeper holds by Sting. Sting and Flair put on a clinic here. Flair not willing to give up to the Boston Crab a few minutes later, and then they go brawling to the outside. Flair still remains a babyface, but it's a harken back to his heel roots in the sense that Ric Flair will use a few cheating tactics throughout. Sting, not managing or wanting to give up, manages to get Flair down, misses a huge leaping elbow drop in the middle of the ring. Flair backs off several times on Sting. Sting catches Flair in the mouth with a couple of shots. Sting not exactly thrilled with that prospect. Sting manages to send Flair into the corner misses the Stinger splash, goes rib cage first, sternum first into the corner there. Hard shots by Sting along the way. Sting gets a second wind, probably about 15 maybe ish minutes into the match. Clothesline by Sting just about takes Flair's head off there. Flair slows him down, goes to work on Sting, works the knee a little bit, but also gets him in the corner, hits some chops, and steps him over, slows the match down as would be needed, rolls him over, tries to get a pinning combination. And then Flair hits a suplex or two, keeps going pretty aggressively, still with about 20 minutes left in television time. Match has been paced beautifully. Probably one of the last really good classic WCW-esque pre-Hogan main event matches. I know Steamboat and Flair have one. Sting and Flair, I think, have one other one probably in the first 6 months of 94, but by the second half of 94, when Hogan comes in and does all his cartoon shenanigans and stick, you're not seeing nearly as many really good quality wrestling matches at the time. Obviously, you'd see it return with guys like Malenko and the like. But Flair goes to the outside, has some difficulty getting back to his feet, manages to keep things going. With about 10 or 11 minutes left in the broadcast, Sid makes his way out to ringside to watch things firsthand. And Flair, who has been working over the leg of Sting for several minutes, tries to put on the figure four and gets rolled up in a small package for his trouble in the next little while there. Flair continues to work over the leg of Sting, pulling Sting back to his feet temporarily, not getting all he wants out of the process there. Irish whip by Flair. Flair does the chop to Sting. Sting not a fan of that whole aspect of life. Anyway, manages to catch up under him and hard shots by Flair. Sting does the Hulk up and basically shakes him off. We've got about 6 or 7 minutes left in the broadcast. Flair continues to be in control, hits a vertical suplex on Sting, late hanging suplex, and continues to go with it. Sting mounts a comeback a couple of minutes later, but doesn't get all he wants on the comeback. Needless to say, Flair continues to chop away at Sting, both literally and figuratively. There's a crossbody, both guys spill to the outside of the ring. Flair does the Flair flop on the floor. Sting is virtually unconscious along the way. It's continually an amazing deal here with about 3 minutes left of TV time. Both guys on the outside of the ring. Double count out attempted. Sid grabs Sting, pulls him out of the ringside area. Flair wins by countout. And Sid wants to cause more issues. We close the program. Flair says he wants to get at Sid and Vader. Sting and Flair continue to be friendly, but the bottom line is that is a classic match worth going out of your way to see on TBS from 1993. We'll be back with more, hopefully, later today. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.